So I guess when you decide you want to be a super artsy photographer, you end up with things like canvas backdrops and gigantic shiny tarps in your apartment. And then you got to deal with them. You got to find some way to get rid of them. So dealing with that. But welcome to this week's video. It's Cam Browne. And this week we are going to turn my apartment, my living room, into hopefully a full-fledged photo studio. I have 3 looks that I want to create. One kind of just a basic portrait shoot, one environmental lifestyle shoot on this couch here and kind of in this corner. And then I want to get kind of a little abstract and artsy with the tarp and the, space helmet. I love the space helmet. Anytime I get the chance to bring that out, I will. And that's exactly what I did. And I think we created something real special with that. So let's get into the video. So first thing we're covering is my equipment. What are we working with? We are shooting with my beloved Mamiya RZ67. This is my baby, and I've caved. I'm gonna start making videos on film photography. I'm just too excited about it. I love it too much. I got the prism viewfinder on this guy. I've tried the waist level viewfinder, but I don't know how anyone uses that. It's inverted, it's backwards. It melts my brain when I'm already thinking about enough as it is. So very happy that I got the prism viewfinder and I can shoot at eye level, which is a plus for me. I like that. The one con on this photo shoot is my lens. This is the only lens I have, and I wish I went with something wider because this is the 127 f3.8. The 3.8 doesn't give me any trouble. I usually stop down on medium format because you already have so much bokeh. I'm looking for those sharp images, but the 127, that's tough because that's like 62 or something like that on full frame, and that's pretty tight, that's pretty cropped in. And we're in a, this space is probably 300 square foot, so there's literally 0 extra space to work with. And as you will see, I definitely think that kind of hurt me with the final images. And of course, you already know what film stock I chose. The famous Portra 400 on 120. Everyone uses this for good reason. I've been shooting on Cinestill 800T, and I think that is just a little too punchy for me, a little too unforgiving if I want to bring some shadows back. I definitely prefer, after experimenting, Portra. It just has more latitude, it's more forgiving, especially when I'm just kind of getting into film. This helps. Alright, so let's talk about the first shoot. So we just took the canvas backdrop and just simply kind of tacked it to the wall. The goal was to have it not flat, but we wanted some rivets in it, some wrinkles, so it would catch the light and create some shadows and help with depth because we are in such a limited space. Any texture, any interesting things that the bokeh could pick up on, I'm gonna use to my advantage. And then I actually didn't use my softbox. I took that off and I put a snoot on the light, which is kind of a lens for your light to help focus it. And what I was using for this scene was you can put some filters in it to create some effects. So we used a single streak filter and we used a multiple streak filter, which kind of gives the effect that light is coming through windows. I think because this scene was so simple that these effects really saved the images. My one critique on these images was, in my opinion, they're just a little bit boring. I would have liked to have come prepared with some extra poses for Riley, just to give something for him to work with, maybe some props, I'm not sure. But most of the images are just him kind of just, sitting here, looking at the camera, getting his portrait taken. And in my opinion, it's just boring. We moved this light over to this corner, took this picture down, and unfortunately, these floating shelves are kind of in place where they're at. So it's gonna be too much effort to take them off the wall. So I think these really hurt the final images. I would have liked them to be gone and have a simpler frame. And unfortunately, I think the lens choice, it really hurt these images. There already wasn't enough to work with just in this simple corner, which is, it's my fault at the end of the day. But I would have liked to come a little bit further back to get a little bit more of the scene. The thing that saved these images was we used the snoot again. Instead of the lines, we used a circle, a really tight circle, and then gelled it with red. And then we beamed that right onto his chest, which I thought was gonna create like a beam that you could see from off frame onto his chest. But what it did was actually create an even better effect where it looked like his heart or something under his chest was glowing through his shirt. I'm gonna put this concept on the shelf and definitely bring it out when I have the right lens in the right location to make this photo more memorable. Dun, dun, dun. Like the rings, this will go around your neck.
Wow. I'm positive this is gonna be so much fun.
It does suck, yeah. It's not fun, but whatever. Oh god.
What's going on, buddy?
Oh yes. Oh, something going up my nose. Whatever.
How's it feel?
Oh god, it's awful.
If you guys follow me, I'm sure you have already seen this image. From me, from my page, this photo basically went viral. I've never gotten feedback on an image or any of my work really more than this photo. And really, if I'm being totally honest, I think that this is probably some of my best work I've ever created. I don't think it's because of skill. I think it's a little bit because of luck. And, oh, I almost forgot. The original inspiration for this photo did not come from me. It came from a digital artist on Instagram. And I definitely want to shout him out so he gets the credit he deserves. I do not know how to pronounce his name, but I will link his account on the screen and below. As you can see, it's a digital painting of an astronaut with flowers coming out from his face mask. And I wanted to see if I can bring that into the real world, if I can shoot that on film. Two things that were gonna be challenging, but I thought if I had help from Riley and, you know, a little bit of luck, I could pull it off. I picked up a couple of bouquets of flowers from Walmart. Thankfully, it was the day after Valentine's Day, so those were cheap. And we just kind of started placing them around the outside of the face mask and worked our way in. Something that really helped was we used these big chunks of like green grass material, and those took up a lot of space. And then we could kind of plug in the specific colored flowers all around that we wanted. And then we just, you know, we got to the point where we had one eye hole, and I guided Riley onto this stool right here actually. And I kind of positioned the last few flowers, and I was definitely aware that this was an awkward and probably an uncomfortable experience for Riley. So I definitely tried to make this as quick as possible. I really focused on talking to him throughout the whole process. I made sure he knew that I was setting up the camera, when I was focusing, how much time was left, 1, 2, 3, hold when I take the picture, things like that. Just so he's just not sitting in a itchy, dark environment. He can barely hear me as it is anyways, so I'm saying things like 2 pictures left, 1 picture left. Okay, Riley, 30 seconds left until you can take the helmet off. And then I just made sure that on me, I was able to make these frames in under, let's say, 5 minutes. I was really happy with the exposure. I like that it was a little bit darker, a little flat, and it kind of just was almost like a matte painting, which I think would make a really nice print. So maybe I'm gonna have to replace this and put the helmet photo there. I think I'm gonna roll with the name Expansion. I think that's the name for this photo. So never really named a photo before, so tell me what you guys think. I might make prints of this, so if I get enough good feedback in the comments on this video, I'll start looking into how to make prints and I'll put them up on my store. So Hope you guys learned something. This was a fun one to make. I'll see you guys next week. As always, it's Cam Browne. Take care of yourself.